All right, good day, good day. In this transmission, we will be discussing how the unconscious, the subconscious, and the physically conscious mind work together and work with belief systems and what their function is. As we have explained previously in other transmissions, your belief system is basically the product of a triad of experiences, the beliefs, the emotions, the thought patterns that create your physical personality and generate your physical experience. But the triad function, the triad structure also exists between your physical conscious mind, physical subconscious mind, and physical unconscious mind. Now, as we again have said before, many people on your planet have thought of the subconscious and unconscious mind as somehow being underneath the conscious mind, below the conscious mind, because you talk about the idea of things being buried deeply in the subconscious or unconscious mind, and therefore it creates the connotation, the implication that these levels are actually under or below or beneath your physically aware daily conscious mind. They are not. They are above it. Because if you understand the idea of the higher mind, which sees everything, which knows everything about the path you are taking, the theme you have chosen to explore, which is the portion of your total consciousness that retains the big view and sees more clearly than the physical mind does what is going on and what is happening and why with respect to the theme that you chose to explore as a physical being, you will understand that because the higher mind knows everything, then the idea of the unconscious mind is also a very large repository of information. You may not always have access to it, but by having the largest repository of information, it is much closer to the idea of the higher mind and thus higher than the physical mind vibrationally, because it contains so much more than the physical mind is capable of handling at any particular moment. Next, the subconscious mind also, in many cases, contains more information than the conscious mind requires for its daily operation, its daily functioning, and thus again is above the physical mind. Again, kind of like not only a repository of more information, but here's the critical key. The subconscious functions between the conscious mind and the unconscious mind as a valve, as a filter, as a processing station between the two, allowing some information from the unconscious mind to come into the subconscious, which then gets processed and filtered in a way that it then can be passed along to, passed down to the conscious mind in whatever form is necessary for the conscious mind to receive that processed information in a way that is relevant and works for what the conscious mind needs to know, needs to realize, needs to experience in its journey of physical reality. So the idea of how these work together is that you have the physical mind, which is experiencing directly the physical idea, the physical journey, the physical experience. And you have the unconscious mind, which is the greater repository of all the information that will ever be needed to be experienced in this lifetime on this theme by the physical mind. But you have in between the two the subconscious mind, which acts as the processing center, the filtering center, to be able to filter out whatever it is that the physical mind is not ready to handle, not ready to perceive, whatever is not relevant at that moment for the physical mind to know, but which the physical mind can allow to come through if the physical mind will work on belief systems that would be hindering or stopping that information from being presented from the subconscious mind to the physically conscious mind. So the relationship between the three-part belief system and its connection to the three-part consciousness triad is that the belief systems will work more directly with the subconscious mind, or the subconscious mind will work more directly with the belief systems to create the processes necessary to work out whatever it is necessary to be worked out so that the physical mind can more clearly and cleanly experience the themes of its exploration that it chose while in spirit, and thus allow itself to clear out those belief systems, which will allow the subconscious mind to process things more efficiently, to let things through from the unconscious mind more quickly in a more accelerated way, so that there begins to be less barriers, so to speak, less imposed barriers, artificial barriers between the physical conscious, subconscious, and unconscious mind. But while those barriers exist, because of whatever the belief systems say the physical mind does or doesn't wish to experience at that moment, either just through timing or through fear, then the idea is that the more you let go of those fear-based beliefs, then only the timing issues will be what allows the subconscious mind to process information from the unconscious and let it through to the conscious mind in a more timely fashion without being inhibited by any fear-based beliefs that the subconscious mind may be taking its cue from to hold back that information until the physical mind feels that it is absolutely ready to handle the information. You have a very, very, very large repository of information and knowledge in the unconscious mind. And therefore, based on the belief systems that allow you to determine when you are ready to be more of yourself, to explore and expand and be aware of more of who you are, the subconscious mind acts as that brake pedal, so to speak, that allows you to determine with your free will and your willingness to process and let go of your fear-based beliefs exactly when you believe you are ready to handle more information and allow the subconscious to process things more efficiently, more quickly, and allow yourself to receive more information that is being held in the unconscious mind that is representative of much more of the theme that you chose to explore as a physical being. So this is how these three components of consciousness in physical reality work together, kind of like a gas pedal, brake pedal sort of system in trinary fashion, to download whatever information to you you are ready to receive based on how ready you are to know yourself more fully, based on how ready you are to be more aware of the themes you chose to explore, based on how ready you are to let go of those fear-based and limiting beliefs, negatively speaking, and bring them into positive realization. So you are, as the physical mind, in a sense, in the driver's seat with your hands firmly on the controls of what will allow the subconscious mind to bring through, to process through the information from the unconscious that can reveal to you more about who you are in a very inspirational way, giving you much more aha moments in life, as you say, allowing you to know yourself more deeply and to understand more clearly the theme that you chose to explore, which gives you more insight into where you're heading. In a sense, opening up the idea of whatever probable reality futures are more conducive and more in alignment with who you truly prefer to be, and allowing the theme that you chose to explore to be more informative as to what choices you can make more clearly, giving you discernment to understand what is and isn't true for you, and allow you to move forward in life, in your physical reality experience, in a much more joyful way. So this is how these components work together. Ponder this, let it sink in, absorb it, and continue to let go of those fear-based or negative beliefs, only allowing the timing issues to remain so that what is truly relevant for you in this moment, at any moment in the present, to come through efficiently without hindrance, without inhibition, and allow the subconscious and unconscious portions of your consciousness to work more fluidly together with the conscious mind.
Okay, and what, if any, impact do things like autism, ADD, and things like that have on the triunal structure and the way our belief systems are formed?
I'm going to put this very simply. The effect that those kinds of situations or conditions have is to either make the subconscious mind more or less open to bringing through certain ideas in a very specific way. So in other words, the subconscious mind may now be relegated to bringing only certain things through, but bringing them through more fully than it ever would for a quote unquote typical trilateral conscious mind. So it depends upon what, again, the theme of exploration is, what this spirit or soul has decided to experience, and how it will use the subconscious mind as a gateway to bring through those specific things that are relevant for the experience that you are calling autism or those other conditions you have named.
And as
So it's
far as
like having the subconscious mind have a way of doing slightly different kinds of duties, slightly different kinds of filtering or not filtering, depending upon the theme that is being explored by that particular consciousness.
and with multiple personality disorder, is that a mental issue or is it a spiritual issue?
Well, it can be both, because again, remember, as above, so below. So there can be affectations in the mental consciousness that will allow for that particular being to experience those things that may originate in a other dimensional or spiritual nature. But the idea fundamentally, fundamentally, and again, not for every case, but fundamentally, is that an individual is tapping into multiple parallel realities, multiple versions of themselves, without necessarily having the filtering system or the control system imposed upon it that would allow them to function in an orderly fashion, communicating with one another in a way that still allows the individual to function, quote unquote, normally in your reality. So it's a type of tapping into multiple dimensions, multiple parallel realities without the ability to focus in any one particular one in an effective way, but again, can be done for a variety of reasons that may be personal to that particular consciousness experiencing that.
So is the person tapping into multiple spirits and having them all share one body, or?
No, it's not the sharing in the body, but it's an expression through the body, if that's what you mean by that. They don't all reside in the body per se, but the body can function as a reflector or a mirror for different versions of spirit and consciousness and physical beings in other parallel realities temporarily. So again, sort of like your telephone analogy, you can have different friends speak to you through the same phone, but it's not like they're inhabiting the phone. It's like the idea is that the phone and your body is a device that can, based on its frequency, allow different voices and different experiences to come through temporarily.
So is creativity from the higher mind, the subconscious mind, or the unconscious mind?
It is mostly from the higher mind, although there can be versions of it that filter into the unconscious and subconscious and even the conscious mind in the form of inspiration. But as we said, the idea is that the higher mind is the conceiver. The brain is the receiver, and the physical conscious mind is the perceiver. So what you're calling creativity is a conception that originates in the higher mind, in the higher self, and filters down in whatever ways are relevant through the unconscious, subconscious, and into the conscious mind in ways that allow the conscious mind, the conscious being, the personality to be creative. But all of that comes from source and therefore filters down, so to speak, through the higher mind to the conscious mind, the triune conscious mind.
How does that relate to the higher mind, to the oversoul, to the higher, to the unconscious, subconscious? I notice there's confusion often.
All right. Again, Without going into too much detail and too many layers and levels, because you can create a number of them anyway for various purposes. Of course, everything starts with all that is source. It all comes from that. It's all an expression of that. But it goes down into different levels of oversoul, whether you want to say it's a universal oversoul or a galactic oversoul or a solar system oversoul or a planetary oversoul is relatively arbitrary. But it goes from the oversoul level into the individual soul level. And then the individual soul creates the idea of the non-physical higher mind and the triune physical mind. Then through the experiences of the physical mind, you create the concept of the unique spirit that is germane and unique to that particular physical experience. And that becomes part of the soul. But the idea, again, is that it usually goes from oversoul to higher mind, to unconscious to subconscious to conscious mind, that then through its experience creates a representative spirit that is a unique representation of the experience of that particular personality that then resides in the soul and the oversoul and all that is from that point forward, speaking linearly.
Awesome. Mind filtering UFOs. Are there does the unconscious and subconscious minds that are responsible for filtering out things filter out UFOs, fairies, elementals, other beings from the conscious mind and limit what it can receive? And if so, is it being due to negative beliefs or is it for other reasons?
Both. It can be for fear-based beliefs that it's doing that filtering. It can be something that the conscious mind believes it's not ready for. That would cause upset and imbalance within it to perceive those things because of its theme of exploration. And it can also simply be that the being is not ready in timing for the idea. And it simply can be outside the theme of exploration. But again, there are limitations there that are dissolving. You are becoming more aware that these beings exist, that these forms of consciousness exist, that there are ET beings, that there are extra dimensional beings, that there are elemental beings. There are different aspects of consciousness that are connected to your planet in a variety of levels. And therefore, it's really simply a matter of when it's the appropriate timing for you to allow and open up and dissolve the barriers between the conscious, subconscious, and unconscious minds to the degree where they can perceive more in the conscious mind of what is all around it all the time. The unconscious mind is always aware of these things, just as the higher mind is. But again, it's a reservoir that holds these things back because the subconscious mind determines from the belief system of the conscious mind what the conscious mind is ready to perceive and experience and interact with based on the theme of exploration and the belief systems that exist at that moment.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, you've said that to access the subconscious mind, unconscious mind, and so on, that we have to raise our vibration.
Yes.
But how do we know that we are in that state? How do we know that we've accessed the subconscious or the unconscious mind? And do you have a tip to achieve the most frequent type of vibration needed to access the subconscious and the unconscious?
Last question first, follow the formula because
Right.
it leaves nothing relevant out and raises your vibration when you're acting on your passion. And the question, how do we know when we're there, will become obvious when you actually have raised your vibration. To ask the question means the vibration is not high enough. When you are in the high enough frequency, that question will no longer be relevant and it will be exactly apparent what level you're on, what vibrational state you're in. So raising your vibration will eliminate the need to ask a question, when am I in that vibration? How do I know when I'm in that vibration? It's a self-canceling idea.
Is there a frequency level that you can mention that you would need to be at in order to receive that information?
It may be slightly different for everyone, but in general, it usually happens for most humans on your planet when you have achieved something above 180,000 cycles per second.
So if you're in the channeling state, so to speak, or, you're following your passion, so you're in that state. There's
Yes.
different levels of excitement and full consciousness commitment to the experience, because maybe things are running in the background,
Let me
etc.
correct that.
Okay.
There are different expressions of excitement, but there aren't different levels of excitement. Excitement is excitement. Passion is passion. It can express itself in different ways, and there can be different vibrational states to those expressions, but the raw core idea of passion or excitement is a pure vibrational state without different levels in it. That's the point we're making, is that when you're actually functioning more holistically in the vibration of passion and excitement, the idea of much of the so-called confusion about what level you're on disappears, because by definition, what comes with that is a complete recognition by definition of exactly what pure state you're in.
Okay, so I know that a lot of people, after they experience you and the communications from you, they feel a deep sense of inspiration and excitement about their lives and what they can do.
Yes.
Comparing that to, say, someone who loves to paint, but while they're painting, they're thinking about the bills they have to pay or something like that, even
They're
though
not in their passion. They're not in their passion at that moment.
So you would be able to feel that inspired sense that we can feel after interacting with you. That would be a true indication of that higher frequency, yes?
Yes, stay there.
Okay.
No matter what you have to think of. The idea is, again, you must remember that this all happens in perfect timing. There will be a time when, if it is important for you to ponder the idea of a bill, it will come in the form that is still part of your passion. It won't be a distraction. It won't be a less than experience. It won't distract you from the passion of the moment. You'll find the right time to be passionate about the idea of paying a bill, if that is something that is truly necessary as part of your passion. So these things come in pure form. They don't obstruct each other. They don't interact in a way that is destructive to one another. It still allows you to come in a form in perfect timing that allows you to experience each and every one of those things in its pure, exciting form.